KZN Public Works and Infrastructure MEC Meyer met with union NEHAWU. One issue raised during this meeting is the issue of the safety of several state-owned buildings, particularly the one in Ulundi. While the meeting was described as fruitful and positive, let's get an update from the MEC on the status of those things which were discussed. MEC, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, from a very beautiful Saturday in Durban.
It has taken a while for you to meet with NEHAWU. Is this because of a tight schedule, or was it just not the right time to meet with them yet?
No, when I took office a year and 3-4 days ago now, I declared that I have an open door policy, and that is to everyone, NGOs, NPOs, businesses, and the unions. And unfortunately, I didn't realize how many people do want to see an MEC of Public Works and Infrastructure. It's quite a busy schedule. But now was the right time. We've stabilized the department. We're now going into the next phase of growing and expanding what the work of the department is doing now that we have done most of our stabilization. So now was the absolute right time to sit down with the union. And I think it was a really good, excellent meeting, actually, I would describe it as.
One would have thought when you would have fired a couple of officials because of the 1.1 billion rands worth of tenders, and then NEHAWU came out and accused you of purging people and prioritizing DA members for official posts, interfering in operational duties and so forth. You would quickly want to have that meeting.
Well, I mean, they only asked for this meeting now. They contacted my office requesting this meeting. So, they also went too big a rush to sit down with me, it seems. But we did discuss the matter of officials being suspended. Our side of the case was stated. NEHAWU as a union has many times in the past and in this meeting come out strongly against corruption and corrupt officials. And since all the officials that we have, I don't like to use fired, but let's say fired, have gone through a process of being suspended, going through disciplinary, putting their side of the case, we put our side of the case, and being found guilty. NEHAWU agrees that the processes were followed, and where people are guilty of wrongdoings, that we as a department have a responsibility to act. So it was discussed in our meeting, but there was no accusations from NEHAWU on witch hunting, and I've made it very clear that we are hunting corrupt officials, which is a very, very small part of the officials in our department, and that if anybody is corrupt, of course we will go after them. I don't know anyone's political party affiliation or the union affiliation, and that we are, and now we have the support of NEHAWU in this.
Yeah, we're particularly happy with the pace at which you are concluding the cases, or at least at which the investigations are conducted, the 60-day period.
Yeah, no, and I'm very proud of that as well. Gone are the days that people sit at home for a year, 2 years, 3 years, in some cases, on full pay, while these things drag on. All except one, the matter of the suspended HOD has been concluded in 60 days. The HOD matter is a very large matter. It's a very complicated matter. That's why this one is taking much longer, but it is active. It's not just sitting on a desk somewhere. That hearing is happening almost on a weekly basis. And that we also gave that as proof to NEHAWU that if this was just pure witch hunting, then people would be sitting at home because we wouldn't have the proof. The fact that we managed to conclude all these within the 60-day period with positive findings from the disciplinary hearings shows that we were just going after people who were doing wrong things. And we also discussed that there are many officials, and media don't always, of course, report on these, that we went to them and said, listen, we do have a strong case, but we feel that there is a process of rehabilitation, that if you give us a guilty plea, you'll get some form of punishment, but you can continue in work. And that actually is a lot more than the ones we have fired. So we are really trying to also work with our officials where mistakes were made, give them another chance, and build forward on this department.
The Ulundi legislature building is one of the things cited as having come out quite prominently in your discussions with NEHAWU. Of course, the issue of the dismissed officials as well. What's the story with this Ulundi building? It's not just purely owned by government. There are other implications to this building?
Yeah, so unfortunately what we're seeing with the Ulundi legislature building, which is the legislature itself, and then a large administration block where I think 11 government departments have their offices in their district offices for the Zululand district, including 3 national departments, which is Home Affairs, SASSA, and one other. Unfortunately, this building has not been properly maintained for 30 years. And if you don't maintain something, and this is a struggle that public works and infrastructure is now facing, that if you don't maintain something for a period of 30 years, the building is just like a car, just like us. You have to go to the doctors regularly. You have to do the maintenance. So the building has been really starting to show its age, and some serious problems like with the air conditioning, electricals, and things like that has come forth. Unfortunately, also earlier this year, Ulundi was hit by a very, very strong storm that did severe damage to the building, so much so that we had to close down the administrative block where many government departments are housed, because the building was no longer safe. So it wouldn't be safe for the departments to send officials to work on a daily basis. We worked with the Department of Labor, decided the building is not safe. We are in the process of getting the funds together so that we can get that administrative block fixed and people back in. But to fix the whole legislative complex, the whole precinct, would set us back almost 800 million rand, which is not something that the government can afford at this stage. So we are engaging with our partners within the GPU, with private investors through the Triple P process, and with the local government in Ulundi as well, to see how we can best maintain and move forward on the legislative complex. But our first priority, of course, is the office block where 11 departments are housed.
And one of the things that you would have wanted to deal with as you come in was the process of doing an audit of what you own, what is a problem building, what is not. How far have you gone in the 12-month process, in that identification process, and beginning to fix what would be problem buildings?
So we're about at 98% of the audit. It does take a while. We own over 10,300 properties across the province. So it's a very large process, but we made a very strong decision to do this in-house. So we didn't go out and get very expensive consultants to come and do it. We're using our own in-house expertise to do this full audit of the properties. It's going really well. And we have found quite a few matters that need to be addressed. Also found that the issue of invaded buildings wasn't as big as we initially feared. Whilst we do have a situation of invaded buildings, especially houses that we inherited from other departments over the years, that is something we are now addressing. We've also just put, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we've put 88 properties that this audit found is excess to the need of government. We've put those properties on the market. People can visit our website to go see where these properties are, which properties are being put on the market. And what we're looking there is not just for sale, also for long-term leases. And we're not just looking at the money, we're looking at the proposals people come with. So if NPOs, NGOs come with proposals for the use of this land or the buildings, that is something that we will also consider. And that's all outcomes of the audit process that we ran with the department to see what exactly is the state of ownership of buildings. We've also handed over 3 buildings to eThekwini municipality. We're busy concluding with a few other municipalities, including Umgeni municipality, Ulundi municipality, and the KZN municipality. We've also handed properties over to also bolster local government and their ability to provide the services to their people.
Yeah. The process of auditing, is that the only aspect of your operations that you've insourced? I mean, you would have admitted here on this channel, speaking to one of my colleagues, that one of the challenges that you met when you came in a year ago is that the department relies heavily on consultants in the region of billions, actually.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we've done now is to digitalize the department, because it will enhance our ability to do things in-house. When I took office, they told me the digitalization of the department was going to take 6 years. That's the roadmap they laid out. We decided that's unacceptable. We worked very hard, and now the roadmap is only 6 months. So by the end of this year, we'll be a fully digitalized department, which will really help us to do a lot of the things in-house. We recently also handed over a school called Faith Mashlaba School just outside of eThekwini, where we used 0 consultants. We only did it in-house. And that also saved us millions of rand on this project. So we are really moving fast in making sure that we be able to do most of our things in-house. The other problem is also our lack of artisans. So maintenance couldn't be done in-house. And we are looking at the structure of the department. This was also discussed with NEHAWU, and they gave the support for this to enhance our ability, get more artisans in the department. And then lastly, we're also concluding a MOU with COCTA and KZN to also assist municipalities where we have the expertise through architects and engineers. So instead of municipalities having to go and get consultants from outside at a hugely inflated cost, they'll be able to make use of us as a department, we will provide the expertise with them at no cost, obviously, from government to government. So not only are we looking at cutting consultants within our department, we're also looking at cutting consultants for other departments and local government within KZN.
MEC, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on the MEC.
Thank you.
For Public Works and Infrastructure, Martin Meyer.